Yep. It's about that time. Please share this right into all of your networks that are out there. It is time for NFC North. Wayne, today we're talking a little Vikings cornerback who are the Vikings going to send at running back? Anybody? Bring in Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt, maybe even re-sign Cook. Yannick signed. Right, Lions sell out all their season tickets. There he is. There's the guy. That is my man right there. Renee Sewell catching a TD pass. Welcome one, welcome all. It is the NFC North Talk with your host, Russell Wayne. We got some people in the comments already. Jonathan, good morning to you. Jonathan, good morning to you. Jason in the air. Yeah, good morning, Calvin. And good morning. And we can hear you. Thank you. Woody letting me know right off the bat that he can hear me. And yeah, here we are. It is August 4th, 2023. We actually had a preseason game yesterday. Really? Yes. We had a whole bunch of people that, threw passes and caught passes that probably won't make that team, but it was sure nice to have some football in the air. If you were excited and you watched that football game yesterday, throw a W or an N into the comments. Whether you did you watch that game yesterday? Did you watch it? Oh, we got Main Event Mike in the house. Look at that right there. It's Main Event Mike, the Emmy Award
nominated, not winner. I didn't win.
Emmy Award nomination for Main Event Mike right there.
That's right.
And as I say, good morning to you. And we're talking a little bit of football. We had a football game yesterday.
It was a Hall of Fame game. Did you watch it?
I did. I at least watched the highlights of the cab drivers and the drywallers. You got some information for me about like some of the people that did some stuff yesterday?
No, that like you said, they're a bunch of bus boys and cab drivers. So, but there were some interesting things. Were you watching when the lights went out?
I didn't watch when the lights went out. Actually, I just watched I did the cheating way. I looked at the replay and the 10-minute like real quickness of each play.
The place for years had a bad reputation of crappy turf. It's a crappy stadium. It's most of its use there in Canton, Ohio is for this weekend for the Hall of Fame game. So they dumped a ton of money into this place, revamped the whole thing. And the lights went out. But you know what else the reports coming out today are? The showers didn't work after the game. The players were not able to shower after the game. So the lights go out, the showers don't work. I mean, what a disaster. That's a true story. After plugging all that money into it, and they still are not able to put a solid product together. It makes you wonder how long the NFL is going to keep playing this game here. I mean, obviously it's connected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, so it'll probably never go away. But and I did hear that people in Cleveland didn't even notice the smell when the players came out.
All right. Yeah, I was right in there. Yeah, we're used to that.
Right.
I grew up near that area, so yeah, I get it. The dog pound, and you never know what happens inside the dog pound, right?
And of course, Aaron Rodgers didn't play. Deshaun Watson didn't play. It was very fortunate that there was a massage parlor directly across the street. I heard that Deshaun Watson was laying on the table watching the game. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, he definitely didn't play. Aaron Rodgers didn't play, and Jonathan Heights in the comments right here say I see Rodgers was too scared to play. Yeah,
smart.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody out there watched it, did you guys enjoy the game yesterday, or is it kind of like? I mean, this was two teams I really didn't care too much about. The only reason we really care about the Jets because Rodgers went there; he didn't play, so. I mean, did you watch it? The game, Jeremy Ballrick says the game was awful. I mean, he kind of called that yesterday. when he had gotten on yesterday, I was like, this is going to be awful. I don't even know why we're talking about it. But if you care about the Hall of Fame game, or you want us to talk about that, throw that in the comment. But for right now, unless you got another comment on it, I'm going to move on.
Nah, move on.
Vikings today, they got an interesting battle in camp. Their number 2 cornerback. They had Booth and Evans that were vying for that spot, but this 4th round draft pick, Mika Blackman, is competing for this number 2 corner job. Does that make you worried at all about Brian Flores' defense? You think he can put it together with some of these young pieces?
No, not at all. Worst ranked defense last year. They've done nothing but lose starters. They had a 1st round draft pick that they chose a wide receiver 3. So no, I don't see this being anything that moves the needle. Brian Flores will move the needle just by proxy, by being there, more than some undrafted corner. Maybe he turns out to be a starter. That's great for them. But I don't think this is really moving the needle at all. And same as Starling Thomas for the Lions. It's a great story. Maybe he makes the team. Does this really move the needle in the grand scheme? I don't think so.
Right. But they're also looking at like Alexander Madison actually left the practice field. He was and not known to be serious, but all these talks out there. They brought in Ezekiel Elliott for a visit, and I saw Heavy on Vikings come out with something that said that they might have been looking at a guy like Kareem Hunt as a cheaper version of somebody. If you're a Viking fan that's out there, before we talk about it, I want to know what you think. If you had a choice between Ezekiel Elliott, Alexander Madison, and Kareem Hunt, would you take a shot on one of those guys right there to bring him in to help with that offense?
I think you can take Alexander Madison off of that list. Vikings fans love him. Vikings coaches love him. A lot of experts around the league think that this kid could break out. That he's been a super solid backup, maybe the most solid backup in the league. I know in the fantasy circles, he was considered one of the best handcuffs to get because Dalvin Cook was injured so often. So I think we can take Alexander Madison off the list, and Ezekiel Elliott and Kareem Hunt going to the Vikings. I think that does move the needle. That's my opinion. I think Ezekiel Elliott has a lot left in the tank. He's one of the best short yardage rushers this league has ever seen, in my opinion. In fact, if you want to go from 1 yard out and you got one guy to hand the ball, I'll take Zeke all day and twice on Sundays to carry the rock for 1 yard in for a touchdown. So definitely I think Ezekiel Elliott would move the needle a bit for Minnesota. Kareem Hunt, also very explosive player. He's been living on the bench for 5 years, though. And every time they put him in, he averages like 6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And every time they put him in, he does great, but he's still stuck, just like he was in Kansas City. And then, of course, he had the off-field issues. They shipped him out of there, and he's been stuck at the mistake by the lake for the last 5 years in Cleveland. And this could be a huge opportunity for Kareem Hunt and a huge opportunity for Minnesota. Now, if you're asking the question, which would I take if I'm Minnesota? I think that depends on Alexander Madison's injury. If Alexander Madison is 100% on opening day, he's your starting running back, and I would love to have Ezekiel Elliott coming in to rest him rather than Kareem Hunt. However, if Alexander Madison's injury is more significant, I personally would rather have Kareem Hunt in a starter role than Ezekiel Elliott. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, we want to know what you think. And Jonathan Heights back in the comments says, how about rookie Dwayne McBride? I think his name is. What we're really looking at here, Jonathan, we're looking at these like starter quality type of people. Now, if Dwayne McBride can come in and do something right off the bat, even if he gets carries as a 7th round draft pick, you should like that as a as a Viking fan. But when I look at Ezekiel Elliott versus Kareem Hunt, I would personally take Kareem Hunt because I have kind of followed the mistake by the lake for the last 5 years. And this guy was good enough to start, and he would have started on any other team that didn't have Nick Chubb on it. So this guy can catch balls out of the backfield. You're probably going to be able to get Kareem Hunt for about half of the price that you're going to be able to get Ezekiel Elliott for. So I think as far as value and price and what he could produce as somebody that's used to being in a backup role, then that's Kareem Hunt. I don't know if Ezekiel Elliott wants to leave the Tony Pollard situation and go into another situation where he's going to have to like do a bunch of split carries. He wants to be the man.
Yeah, I think this is news, though. Zeke Elliott and Kareem Hunt being potential candidates to come to Minnesota. This directly affects the NFC North. And, kudos to Minnesota if they can land either one of these guys to shore up that running back room. And as far as McBride goes, like you said, a 7th-round draft pick. He also went where? University of Alabama, Birmingham, I believe. UAB, right?
UAB, yeah.
Not a huge school, not great competition. He is young legs, and he shows a lot of burst, a lot of flash. They say in training camp that he looks great. Maybe he's a steal for Kwesi and the Vikings in the 7th round. Time will wait and see, but I'm not going to put any stock in a rookie from UAB drafted in the 7th round to make a big impact for the Vikings right away.
Right on. So as we're losing viewers right here, I'm going to go ahead and change subjects. No offense to the subject. I'm hoping that you are happy as a Viking fan for any of that stuff to happen. But let's talk about the biggest news that's out there right now is the Bears sign Yannick Ngakoue. And I mean, they needed a pass rush. They brought in a guy that can get 8 to 10 sacks, maybe even 12 sacks. So it definitely improves the Bears team. What do you think about Yannick signing?
It's just huge for the Bears. I think it's a great signing for the Bears. Let's face it. They're the worst defensive line in the division, maybe in the whole league. And Yannick Ngakoue has never had less than 7 sacks in a season. Last year, he had his career high at 9.5. They gave him a $10.5 million contract, 1 year, with $10 million guaranteed. So he's getting his bag up front.
Right.
So good for Ngakoue, and I think it's good for the Bears. But he's a pass rush specialist. He's a liability in the run. The thing that really bugs me about this, he's played for 5 teams in 3 years. Okay, if he's that great, why are they shipping him off? What I'd really like to hear, he played 6 games for the Minnesota Vikings before they traded him off. I'd really love to hear a Vikings fan come in and educate us on what his stint in Minnesota was like, because I don't know much about it. I don't even remember him being there, actually. So he spent 6 games there. What was it like having Ngakoue on your team? And maybe the Bears can get a little insight, the Bear fans get a little insight on what they are getting here for 1 year. And let's face it, if he sets a career high, he gets 10 sacks for the Bears. That's great for the Bears. That's a good signing. I'm not going to knock this signing a bit, but that would be $1 million per sack that they would be paying.
Yeah, but that's the nature of the beast. That's what the pass rushers is a premium position in the NFL, and you're going to have to pay for it. And actually, $10.5 million for a 10 sack guy, that's actually a pretty good deal when you think about it, because the Lions paid 13 for 10.5 sacks with Romeo Okwara. So,
and that's my nice take. That's my nice football talk with Russell Wayne take. If you want to hear a little preview of my Monday night take when I'll be ripping the Bear fans apart, you want to hear a little of that?
Go ahead. Yeah, give me.
The guy played for 5 teams in 3 years. Who are those teams? The Raiders, the Colts, now the Bears. This guy doesn't care about winning. He only cares about the money and the bag. And Ryan Poles is giving him the bag. And, how convenient. 2 weeks into training camp, he gets to miss all the push-ups. I don't think this guy is going to pan out to be much more than a 1-year flash in the pan for Chicago. That's just a little preview.
That's a little preview. And if you want some of that smoke, then you can come on the Monday night show, because I don't allow people on here to dance around with the King of Sting, because I just can't handle it. I understand that they don't really want that smoke. And that's the thing is, like, if you're a Bear fan and you're getting too excited about this, that the negative part about it is this guy is awful. He is a liability against the run. I mean, he didn't just have bad scores on PFF against the run. This is historically bad. Let's really look at this. Yannick is 108 out of 119 pass rushers.
Wow.
In the rankings. Oh, wait, but he pass rushes. He had 10 sacks. He's never had less than 10 sacks. Well, last year, as a pass rusher, he graded out as 91 out of 119 as a pass rusher. So if you're going to get too excited to start trying to act like this guy is going to be like the next Joey Bosa or TJ Watt or try to lead the league, you ain't got that guy.
Right. Never less than 7 sacks in his entire career, and a career high last year of 9.5. So definitely there's some production there. Like I said, it's a good signing for the Bears.
It's a good signing for pass rushing, but they need help stopping the run. They are atrocious at stopping the run, and Yannick doesn't help that at all. Not
Right. And
even
when you
a
have a
little
defensive
bit.
line that's not good against the run, what's the remedy? Good linebacker play. And they went out and invested $40 million a year on the linebacking core. And they have 2 great linebackers, TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. So I think this is a really good signing for the Bears, and I don't want to undersell it.
Jonathan Heights says, you guys are super knowledgeable. I don't want no smoke. I'm just a fan. I don't miss Lions games. Not many in the last 25 years. Y'all know stats like crazy. I don't see how. Well, we have this thing called Google, makes us look really, really smart. And we're just fans too, Jonathan. Like we ain't nobody. We just decided to turn on a camera and talk football with each other. And that's right where we're at right now.
Outlets where you can get good news and you can get good in-depth analysis. This isn't one of them.
Oh, Martina Ferguson says, I promise we're not excited.
We're not excited.
Oh, thank you, Martina, for that. Bear Down Mike says, only need him on crucial downs. Okay. We also have a good linebacker to stop the run. You need him more on crucial downs. You need players on your team. You did get a player that's going to be able to come in on, the downs where you need a pass rush. But here's the thing. If I see Yannick out there and I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm just going to run at him. Yeah, I mean, he ain't going to do shit about it. It's not like he's going to make the tackle. 43.7 is your run defense grade. So I honestly, if it's 3rd down and 6 and you put Yannick out there, I'm going to run at him. I'm going to run at him because you can't do anything to stop it. And if you can't stop the run, you ain't even going to get to a pass rushing down that matters. Sorry guys. I'm sorry. I'm turning into main event Mike on during the middle of it's Friday. It's Friday morning. Of course, Bears have both Green Bay's former tight ends, Robert Tonyan and Mercedes Lewis. They signed Mercedes Lewis along with Yannick. So they got some
bit of a head scratcher for me. You've already got Cole Kmet. Why invest that kind of money? Mercedes Lewis is a good veteran, but he hasn't been relevant in years, not even in Green Bay. He was terrible in Green Bay. Tell me I'm wrong, A-Dub. Come on.
Well, I mean, I don't know. They couldn't have paid more than $1.50 for him. They didn't pay him any money, did they? I mean, did they throw any money at him? I don't even know what the contract looks like.
And those horrible Chuck Taylor cleats that he was wearing. Ugh.
Yeah. So I don't know either. But I guess if if I was owned by the Green Bay Packers for as long as the Bears have been, I would probably try to get some other players. Who do you think has the best defense in the division? That is a great question. Well, I know it's not the Bears or the Vikings. So I'm gonna teeter-totter here somewhere between. I think the Lions are better in potential, like when it looks like all of these guys coming up, but I would have to give the edge to Green Bay right now because they've been the best defense in the division. And I believe you got to take it from them if you're going to do it.
Jair Alexander, Rashawn Gary, and then they draft Lucas Van Ness. They're a tough defensive unit. They ranked highest in the division last year in overall defensive production. But I think the Detroit Lions have the best defense in the division now with the moves they've made in the draft and free agency. It's too early to crown them that right now, so I got to agree with you, Russ. I'm going to have to give the nod to the Packers for the best division right now. But at this time next year, I think it'll be unquestionably the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and all we can do is hope at that point. But unfortunately, on this show, as much as we'd love to be homers to the, these are all my Detroit Lion villain squad and Detroit Lion news people out there that are the Lions fans. We would love to be homers on this, but we gotta come correct with it. The Packers do have the best division in the best defense in the division. But let us know. We don't know anything. Who has the best defense in the division? Let us know in the comments.
And thanks for asking a question, Jason. We love that.
We love that. Jason Smith says that I agree. I'd run his butt over. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, good defense or good offensive coordinators know how to counteract these guys. That's why Yannick didn't get signed until training camp, guys.
It's all about matchups in this league.
Chase Allen and Jake Tanges are terrible tight ends. Yeah, they must be because I've never heard of them. Hey, Bear Down Mike says, all right, Mercedes Lewis is better than these guys. Like
that's what he's saying. Yeah, good call out, Mike.
Oh gosh. The only thing that Lewis is good for us is blocking. Well, yeah, you got big sets. That's actually a good thing right there. You got two good blocking tight ends running the football. You plan on running the football a lot with Herbert and Foreman and Fields. So I expect you guys to be a running team. Jonathan says the facts, give it to Green Bay. If we want it, we got to take it. Yep.
Exactly.
I like that.
You like that? I think we will this year. When you put CJ Gardner-Johnson in the back to fire up this whole defense, he's gonna change the whole attitude of this defense in Detroit.
I don't know if this is true right here, but this is kind of funny. Bear Down Mike says, I found out yesterday that Lucas Van Ness is dating Komet's sister.
Wow.
And Lucas Van Ness is Hercules. So if Cole Kmet has a problem with it, what are you going to do about it? Like, oh my God. You like that. You get 5.
Put your hands on my sister. I'll let you body slam me.
Oh, thank you for that compliment. Way to keep it real, Russ. Yeah, we got to try to keep it real on here. We actually like our Packer fans that come in here and troll us. You know, we try to keep it as real as we can. Packers defense has played together longer. Edge goes to them for Bear Down Mike. See, there we go.
Bear fan saying that. So there you go, Packer fans.
Are we drawing in good, intelligent fans from all these fan bases? I think that's a good thing, man. I like that.
David Pike's server must have went down.
Martina Ferguson, she says not Green Bay. I don't know. How can you take that away from them? They got the best cornerback, definitely the best cornerback in the division. Maybe you could say that, you know, in a weakness, we definitely have better safeties than they do, for sure. Like in the back end of that secondary, but I mean,
number 1 draft picks on the defensive side of the ball alone. So and you look at Quay Walker led the league in tears in the tunnel. So that's an interesting stat.
Jonathan Heist, do y'all think that Green Bay should be division favorites coming into the season? Hell no.
No.
There's no reason. There's 0 reasons why the Lions shouldn't smoke this division. They should be 3 games ahead at the end to the second place team that they've grown in this offseason so much. And if
quarterback-driven league. It's a quarterback-driven league, and Jordan Love is the unknown right now. No way they should be considered the favorites, even with a good defense and a good run game. However, I do think they'll finish ahead of Chicago and Minnesota.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'll take my homer take on that, and my mind and my eyes tell me that, too. This isn't just homer Russ on that. I think that you guys got to bring it at that point. We are 8-2 down the stretch with this ascending defense with all these young players. They're all going to end up just being better this year. The whole team, they're going to progress as a unit, second and third year players. I mean, you guys have the proving to do. We were 5-1 in the division last year, guys. Bring it. Bring it. And the division leaders, well, yeah, you guys came to our house and we punked you out the last time that we played you right before you went on your losing streak and then to lose to the Giants in the playoffs. So you guys got the proving today. John Dorn, is the Bears going to sign Crosby now too? Yeah. Line them up. Take all Green Bay had your number. Green Bay has owned the Chicago Bears. Do the Chicago Bears finally take, I mean, forget the Lions for a second. Let's just throw them to the side here for a second. Bears versus Packers right off the get-go. And the Bears have been owned by the Green Bay Packers for as long as I can remember. Is this the year where they turn it around? Is this the year where Justin Fields finally puts it together and can finally get a victory over the Green Bay Packers? Is this it? Is this the year? Let us know. Put it in the comments. You can answer that, Viking fan. You can answer that, Lion fan. Do you think that the Chicago Bears can finally get over that Green Bay Packer hump? The Lions did. Shots fired on my guy, Quay.
I did. I fired some shots. I don't know if you caught it.
I didn't. I was, I must have been looking.
I said that they have 8 number 1 draft picks on that defensive line and a guy named Quay Walker who led the league in tears in the tunnel.
Yeah, Quay Walker. The thing is he's got a lot of talent, and there's a lot of guys that are in the league that have a lot of talent. But here's the thing: it's a grown man's game, and when grown men fight up against grown men, and it gets hard, guys like Quay Walker seem to be the type of dudes that lose their cool and that don't have poise. So you can take your talent and you can keep all of that talent. I would rather have a guy that's cool under pressure, that doesn't shove trainers.
But he had a great year considering that he had a 3rd round grade in the draft and he was drafted in the 1st round. I remember on draft day, we were talking about, wow, they reached for this guy. But he had a really impressive rookie season, though. So got to give him kudos where it's due.
John says Packers got go out there and prove it. Yeah, you were 8-9 last year. You guys definitely have something to prove this year. Yeah, the Lions don't have anything to prove other than getting past the Minnesota Vikings, and I just don't see the Vikings beating the Lions this year. And I definitely don't see the Packers or the Bears having done enough to beat the Lions this year. Bear Down Mike says, I would love to have Robbie Gould back. If he says that he would come back. 40-year-old kickers, but they can go forever, though, can't they?
Right.
Kickers go forever. I mean, they go into the 50s. Let's bring back Hansen. He could probably still, kick accurate 45-yarders at 50, 60 years old. Who cares?
Morton Anderson kicked till he was 47.
Oh, Jason Smith, I believe Green Bay has the better defend, and the Lions have a lot of potential, and a lot will come down to keeping the team aggressive and full of fire, but maintaining penalties we take if we become over aggressive. Yeah, that's a good call.
You like that?
I like that call right there. Yeah, the Lions are full. That's potential. They just have potential. You can't win games with potential, but it is very exciting to see out of Lions camp a lot of the guys that they're talking about that are really, really good, being like Aleem McNeil and Josh Pascal, and like these guys that you guys aren't talking about that you don't seem to be too worried about that you should be worried about.
The Bears are building a pretty good defense over there, and I think Ngakoue is a great addition. So they're going to be in the running. If they have another year off season like they did this year, next year, they're going to be a really tough defense next year.
So Justin, Bear Down Mike says Justin is the only Bears player who needs to prove something.
I don't know about that.
I mean, I
in my opinion, Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool, especially. Chase Claypool has a lot to prove, Mike.
Braxton Jones has a lot to prove. Nate Davis has a lot to prove being in a new deal. You just drafted a offensive lineman that you're definitely going to be counting on, and Darnell Wright, that's got a lot to prove. I mean, this is the pros. I mean, he may look good in camp right now. He may be doing all the right training regimens, eating his Wheaties and pumping iron, but so are all the other 32 teams.
Right.
They're all out pumping iron and are all getting better. So I think a 3-14 team, I think everybody on that team has a lot to prove.
I think it should be mentioned also that Yannick Ngakoue was brought into Chicago a long time ago, a couple of months ago. They were entertaining this idea of Ngakoue. So him and his agent have been out shopping a better deal, and they can't get one, right? That's why they came back to Chicago. Because, like I said before, I don't really think this guy cares about winning as much as he cares about the bag, about getting the money. He could have signed for less money. There are other teams that need a pass rusher, right? He could have gone somewhere else, but he chose the Bears probably because they were the highest paying gig that he could get.
And he knew that they had a lot of money too. So get as much as you can. But kudos to Ryan Poles for holding his ground and not just caving on the first deal like Quessy did with Hunter. So just that's good that they got him for a good price. I mean, $10.5 million for a bona fide pass rusher that averages 9-10 sacks a year. That's not bad. That's a pretty good price, but do realize you got to discount because he can't play the run. I mean, we got a guy on the Lions. His name is James Houston. They're trying to find out ways to get him on the field. He's awesome. He's an awesome pass rusher. Actually, he has a pass rushing move that hasn't been stopped yet. There's no answer to his pass rushing move, but you put him out there on rundowns, then you kind of know that you're rushing the passer when you bring out James Houston. So if he doesn't learn how to play the run, that's going to hurt his money too, just like Ndakwe. So like that call. I can give myself 2. You like that? I'll give myself 2 on that. That was pretty good. Since nobody else said anything.
Pointed yourself 2?
I got to give myself 2 on that. That's a good call. James Houston and Yannick are like the same guy, but Houston's younger. Good pass rushers that can't play the run. I mean, that's the question on James Houston, right? If you're a Lion fan, what do you think of James Houston? He had 8 sacks last year. Why wouldn't he just be the bona fide starter on the other side of Hutchinson if they believe in it like that? So I don't think that he is the run stopping guy. I think that's Josh Pascal. That's why they drafted him. And, James Houston is a bonus guy. But the Chicago Bears are counting on Yannick to be the man. You're
right. That is a great take, Russ. You should give yourself 1 more.
You like that?
Thank you for saying that. I mean, I felt like that was like a mercy you like that right there. Like, oh, better give that to it. But Mike, he's always here. He's my
Say hello to my little friend.
He's my little friend.
Oh, he unleashed a new drop on us.
I like that.
It's my quarterback.
You are my quarterback on Mondays. I love having you on Mondays. And if you want that, why don't you go ahead and plug that show as the King of Sting?
That's the perfect segue, Russ, because I do got to get out of here. I am Main Event Mike, the undisputed, undefeated King of Sting. Come and get a piece every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's the NFC North Open Mic, broadcasting live into Facebook. Join our groups. It is Detroit Lions Main Event and NFC North The Huddle. You join the groups. You join the conversation. Come in on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's the open mic. So put your comment in. We'll send out the link. You might even get on the show and try to get a piece, but leave your feelings at the door and bring your thick skin because it can get pretty hectic. NFC North open mic.
I love it. Well, thank you, Mike. Main Event Mike right there. He is the man. He is the man on Monday nights. And I'll tell you what, it's really like he's the Harlem Globetrotters and you're the Washington Generals, because it doesn't work like that. It's like professional wrestling. It ain't gonna work out well for you if you come on there and get the smoke. He's well prepared, and he does, and he does very, very well with that. Wow, we got here a little bit early. I usually Mike stays on for about an hour. Here we are at 11:37, and I am going to put the link into the comments and invite the people on. You guys want to come on and have a conversation with me? I haven't even gotten to the Detroit Lions topic or the Green Bay Packers topic. So I will talk about the Lions topic as soon as I get done going through these comments right here. Let's see. My name is Martina and I don't drink. Okay, good. Rashnice, the Detroit Lions have a lot to prove. We do. We have a lot to prove when you look at history. But the weirdest thing about the Detroit Lions is they have the least to prove out of the teams that have changed, right? We're bringing back most of our team minus the secondary. Our secondary was off. I'm not gonna go and brag about the Lions secondary, but most of the defense are first second, third year players that played. They played last year. They've shown that they can do some stuff. And the other teams, it's not like I don't think they can do good. It's just that they have shit to prove. Like you got brand new players. And then we have Bear Down Mike was in the comments, and now here he is in person. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
It's my day off, so I'm able to join.
That's awesome. And usually you're just in the comments, and which is cool. That's awesome. And I do want to invite you on to the Monday nights too, because that sometimes that gets a little hairy, but it is a lot like this with Mike being the guy.
Yeah, I got pretty thick skin on my job. You have to have it. So
yeah, and we try not to get into anything the personal type, but now while you're on here, give me your take on the signing of Yannick.
I'm excited. About time. I don't know why it wasn't done sooner. Bears still have 18 million they can use to spend. I would definitely get another edge rusher, somebody with the run to help with the run. Justin Houston is definitely one of those guys. Not big on Jadeveon Clowney.
Me
Seems
neither.
like he wants to go to a Super Bowl team. He wants to go to a competitor who can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you can one hand and shit in the other. Let's see which one fills up first.
Yeah. Either that, he wants the bag.
Yeah, he'd been going for the bag for a while, and I think that it's kind of wearing on him. He wants to go and be part of something, and I get it. But you got to have the right mentality, man. The Bears did have Yannick in earlier, and I think that Yannick was going for the money, like main event Mike was saying. He wanted to do the tour. He wanted to see what kind of money he could get. He knew the Bears had the money, and he knew that he could come back there. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a good signing for you guys. But I mean, I saw a lot of stuff in the NFC North, the huddle. There's a lot of very, very excited Bear fans. I mean, you would think that you signed Reggie White, and I hope that you're not under that expectation that he's going to have that kind of impact, but he is definitely going to make your team better.
Yeah. So I found out at like midnight. I was playing Madden, so
right on. Did you win this Super Bowls?
A lot of
Bears
podcasters were going off, and I was like, "Oh my god, we finally!" And because I just watched the highlights of the Hall of Fame game, I didn't really care for that too much. But yeah, for him, I think like crucial third down plays. The linebackers will help stop the run. If we can get another edge rusher to help stop the run, that's gonna help us out better.
We got Will Vogel. What's up, Will? That's the Jeremy Ballrick Padawan right there. Good morning, gentlemen. Jonathan Height said Chase Claypool does have a lot to prove.
Yes.
I mean, well, give me a couple of guys that you think that definitely need to prove something that are on the Chicago Bears right now.
We're gonna start with offense or defense.
I mean, start with offense.
Offense. Claypool. I think Mooney has done enough to earn himself, as long as you don't get injured. Because he's not going to be targeted as much because now you got DJ Moore.
Exactly.
Claypool knows the playbook now. I think Mooney's already earned his spot because he played with Mitch and had a 1,000-yard season with Mitch.
Right.
So I think he's safe. Claypool will have to have 600-700 yards, 5-6 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't think that you guys can get on the good side of that trade yet, but if he does have some type of production, I mean, you are going to have to pay him if he does do something. But I think that Mooney's underrated because he was expected to be a number one wide receiver last year and couldn't really do it. But I think that he is a solid number two wide receiver, that he could complement DJ Moore better than what, the other three fan bases really think.
Yeah, he's the T. Higgins for us. T. Higgins is second on the Bengals, but that's like our Darnell Mooney. So
Rashni says Ryan Poles was the only one who had the most to prove. I'll defend your boy right there. I mean, I like Ryan Poles as a GM a hell of a lot more than I like Eberflus as a coach. Like, I think that when you guys don't win as many games as you think that you're going to win. I mean, I think that you guys could win 7-8 games this year, and then you're going to feel really good about that going into next year. But Ryan Poles has been drafting well for you guys, and Eberflus is a great scapegoat for you guys to move on to the next phase of your rebuild where you actually have solid guys on your team.
Yeah. Poles, the guys he drafted, I think the only one, Valus Jones, he was a rookie, old rookie. Had a lot of muff punts. He's going to have this season to prove it. Otherwise, he's going to be cut. But so far, who he's drafted, and another thing that I like about Poles, he likes keeping that homegrown talent. That's why he gave Kmet that contract, who was our biggest threat in the wide receiver room. Even though he's a tight end. That's why Kmet got the money. Not a big deal.
He's happy good too. I mean, he was good. Like the best wide receiver you guys had last year.
Tight end. He's got pretty good hands for a big guy.
So I think you paid too. Just this outside guy. I think you paid too much for him, but sometimes you have to pay more for the good guys when you win 3 games. I know as a Lions fan, people don't just line up to come to your organization when your team's been bad. And this was the first year as a Lion fan where it blew my mind to see people say stuff like, I went to Detroit because I wanted to go win. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, Chauncey Gardner? It's like, who does that? Like, we always have to overpay. And that's part of a rebuild. Jason says Fields has never thrown for over 2,500 yards passing and a slew of turnovers going in year 3. And he has something to prove too.
That's why I said he's got the most to prove, because he's got to prove he can be a superstar quarterback, as some of the analytics or the analysts are saying. I said, I'm 70-30 that Justin's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I watched Justin Fields. I'm an Ohio State fan, so I actually watched every one of his passes at Ohio State. And the question is not about whether he's accurate or not. He just hasn't done it at the pro level, but I know he's done the tight window stuff. When he had Olave and Wilson, I mean, I know that those are 2 top wide receivers in the league right now, but still, he still threw those balls into those tight windows in order to do that at Ohio State. So I know he has it in him if he could do that. And really, he doesn't need to throw for much more than 2,500 yards for you to be successful. You just signed Mercedes Lewis. You guys are going big. I can tell with Kmet, with Tanyan, and now Mercedes. You guys are going to go in these 2-3 tight end type forms, and you guys are going to run the ball. Using RPO with Justin Fields. I don't think that you guys are going to be going out in these like spread offenses or anything like that. Go with what you're good at. If you're
Khalil Herbert led the league in yards per game, 5.7, as a second running back behind Montgomery.
Yeah,
which I'm still upset Monty left. Congratulations, Lions.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for being a Bear fan. This is the first Bear fan, I swear, that came on here and actually said that Monty was a good running back instead of downing him.
Because he's not on your team in tackle or broken tackles.
Yeah, I loved the pickup. We loved.
Stop playing with
We loved Jamal Williams here. Do not get it twisted, Lion fans. We loved him. He's a great one-cut runner. He hit the hole. He went right where he went. When he got to the second level, he didn't get much more than what the offensive line gave to him. Now, Monty's a different beast altogether. I mean, Monty's going to get on the second level and he's going to break tackles and turn those 6-yard gains into 13, 14-yard gains. I don't think he's going to be running away from people like Barry Sanders or anything like that, but he definitely has a little more twitch in his hips than Jamal will ever have.
Yeah, he's got that dog in him to fight for extra yardage.
Oh, interesting here. Now we're getting. I hope you don't mind. I always. This is a viewer driven show, so I
watch all the time and I comment all the time.
So, one funky Lions fans that said, I call Houston's move the pro hop, and I don't know how familiar you are with Houston other than the one game, but he did sack Fields 3 times. Yeah, Braxton Jones had no answer for actually nobody had an answer. He had 8 sacks in 7 games. I mean, you got to give Brad Holmes credit.
You like that?
Braxton's the rookie, and even like I know they were talking about him. This is his 2nd season. He's still having trouble anchoring down to stop the bull rush. That's frightening for us.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are depending on Braxton Jones to be a guy like that. But I do like the pick. Darnell Wright is a beast, dude. Like that was a good pick.
Out of Tennessee, yeah, he's good.
You guys got the last of what I would call the first round grade of tackles in that last draft, and you guys really screwed over the New York Jets. I know that they went from 13 to 15 thinking that they could still get one of those tackles, and you guys ate up the last one.
I got a couple friends that were upset because we didn't take Jalen Carter. I'm like, he's got troubles. We don't need that.
Thank you, Jason. You give me 3. Thank you. That I love that we're getting all the comments in here. I know I'm about 10 minutes behind on these comments, but that's because you guys are awesome. And then a couple of those were Bear Down Mike, but he's in here, so I guess I could skip those. Woody says the link. I just sent the link. You put the link's right in there. Let me see. Yeah, you're under the Mike the Bear fan one, right? I'll put it back in. We got the link. Here's the link for everybody. If you want to pop in, Woody, we're going to get dominated here by Bear fans. Yesterday we were dominated by Vikings, and today we might get dominated by Bear fans. Jason says Packers front is ready to destroy the Bears week 1, blowing up that trench. You got a scary defensive line. I'm not going to lie about that, Jason.
Packers front is ready to destroy the Bears week 1, blowing up that trench.
Man, I love the fact that you made Rodgers so mad for so many years, never drafting offense in the first round, but you got guys like Wyatt and Quay Walker, and then you bring in guys like Lucas Van Ness, Rashawn Gary. I mean, that's a scary front defense if Joe Barry can get it together. Oh, main event. Mike just says right here, this sucks right here. Jeff Okudah carted off the field yesterday. So,
where'd he go to?
He went to Atlanta.
Atlanta Falcons there. Now I remember. As soon as I said it came to my mind.
I'm one of the people that said that I was glad that they traded Jeff Okudah, and I stick by that. I like that they traded him and then they went with a brand new secondary all the way around. But I never like to see this type of stuff. I mean, Okudah, even though you might not like him or what he did here, but he worked back from an Achilles injury, which is probably one of the hardest injuries to come back from. And to know that he only got to play a half a season as a 3rd overall pick, that sucks that he's going to get labeled as a bust because it wasn't heart, had nothing to do with heart. This kid worked very, very hard. That's a damn shame. Oh, I don't even know what to do to that one. Gosh, I don't know.
You've had enough of that shit.
There we go.
There you go.
I had to find a good drop in there for that. Thanks, main event Mike, for reporting that. I didn't know that. Calvin says that it's going to be hard for Claypool to get the numbers with Fields as QB, but we'll see. You want to comment on that?
Claypool's going to be fine. They're all going to be fine. He's got better protection. He's got the number 1 receiver, which they're going to be double teaming a lot. That leaves going to leave Mooney and Claypool out on 1-on-1. And Claypool is actually really good on 1-on-1s.
He sure is.
He's a big guy. I think he'll be fine if he doesn't cause any problems.
Yeah, that's the main thing with Claypool. It's never been talent. This kid can jump out of the gym. I mean, he's one of the better contested ball catchers in the league. But the question is, can he be a number 3 without being an attitude? Because if he can,
yeah, go ahead. No, I was letting you finish.
If he can be a number 3 without showing the attitude, I mean, he should be competing for a number 2 spot. But if he can slide in and just be one of the playmakers, we're not trying to get 1,000 yards or start whining because he's not getting enough targets. You can win some games with those 3 guys. You can.
Yeah, and he didn't like being a 3 in Pittsburgh. So we'll see how well he goes.
I like this call right here. I'm gonna finish reading this one first, and then I'm gonna decide. Raymond says that the Lions should put Hendon in at the end of games that the Lions are sure to win or sure to lose this year to give him game experience. That I'm gonna give that one a 3.
You like that?
Because I like that because that's what they were doing with Patrick Mahomes. I guess that worked out pretty well. And I like that call right there. But I also like the call of red shirting Hendon on this first year, not even to have it out there. I think the only reason that Hendon should play this year at all is if Goff has some kind of season-ending injury and he's forced to go in, and that it is what it is at that point. Right. But that's my opinion. What do you guys think? Hendon Hooker, all Lions fans that are out there, that's a great question. Would you like to see Hendon Hooker this year? Is that something that you're chomping at the bit to see, or are we just like wanting to make sure that we give Goff the best chance possible?
Well, we already know he's going to get a lot of preseason. He's
going
to get a lot of snaps in preseason. So
you think so?
Yeah.
You think Hendon will?
Yeah.
I mean, Hendon's still recovering from that ACL. I don't expect them to put him out on the field until week 5, 6. This was like I think to treat him like Jameson Williams did last year. You know, he was ready like second week. But they kept him on the PUP, kept him off the roster because we're deep at wide receiver. We may not have the bona fide number 2s, but we got like 4 number 3s. So we got good morning, Aiden. John Doran says Monty is garbage. I mean, I guess you could say that as a Packer fan. I mean, Jason says I miss Jamal Williams. Sad to see him go. Great back. And
if Monty was garbage, he wouldn't have led the league in broken tackles.
Yeah, John Dorn's troll. He loves me.
I know.
I love having John in there. John, you are one of the best Packer fans that I've ever seen. Lions the best, says Aiden. And one funky Lions fan says, rumor has it Okuda is getting torched in practice. This won't help. It looks like he got injured.
Get torched.
I mean, that sucks.
Yeah.
Let's see if I got in here. Okay, we got. Okay, one funky Lions fan says that I love to see Hooker in the right situation this year. And I think that we're pretty much in one accord right there as Lions fans. We believe in Jared Goff. Jared Goff's been to a Super Bowl, and I give him some credit for that. Not like the other people that love to just give all the credit to McVay for all of the success and all of the things that happened bad were all Goff's fault, right? And then they got rid of the cancer. That sounds like total homerness right there. We're about ready to get attacked by not 1, but 2 Packer fans at the same time. Oh my gosh, I got to change the subject. How's it going, guys?
Well, you were talking about Hooker. I think that you guys put him on a practice squad and go get Bridgewater, tell you the truth, for this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. They seem to like Sudfield. I mean, I don't know if that's just coach speak. I definitely wouldn't want to see them trotting out Sudfield if Goff were to get injured. But God, that would be the worst thing in the world. That would derail the season.
I mean, I wouldn't even mind if Packers brought in Bridgewater for a backup or a veteran backup.
Yeah,
right now the backup is Clifford. It's like okay, he's
right. Well, you guys in that situation, and this isn't even a troll right here, is Bridgewater is a similar style to Jordan Love, and I think he would compete for the starting job if you brought him in.
Good.
I mean,
that's
Bridgewater is
PJ Walker in. That's why we brought him in.
Bridgewater's a proven dude to me. I mean, we're in Minnesota, he was the starter and then he got injured.
Yeah.
And then he came back from the injury. He played well in relief of Drew Brees. And then
he won like 5 games, didn't he?
Yeah. And then I thought he did pretty well in relief of Tua Tagovailoa, but he didn't win any of those games, but he did put up numbers, throwing to the same receiver. So let's see what we got here. Jack Campbell. Love that pick. I can't.
I seen a thing about him. You're in your camp. He's actually doing really good in your camp, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing too.
Yeah, I immediately went when you put that Jahmyr Gibbs had fumbled. I was like, "Oh shit!" I went in there and I immediately looked that up because I wanted to see what had happened.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised to see that it was Jahmyr Gibbs running over the middle, and he was going. And all of a sudden, Jack Campbell came out of nowhere right into the screen. And pow! Knocked
Well, I
the
read-
ball out, punched
well, I
it out
read
of his
that-
hand.
Well, I read that that Gibbs is actually having some catching problems too, but that's what was that one practice or through OTAs? I don't know. I just heard he was dropping balls too, but I don't care. Every receiver is going to drop balls. I don't care how good you are, or whatever. You're going to drop balls. You ain't going to catch every single one of them.
Well, your
That's
criticism on Jamison Williams is right on because they even can't. I mean, Dan Campbell came right out and said, he's like, look, he doesn't have elite hands.
Yeah, I see that one.
He has elite abilities. It's not his hands aren't what's gonna make him who he is.
Yeah, but you do those reverses like that and little toss passes. Once he gets in that free open field, man, good luck catching them.
I tell you what, man, but he needs to go over there with Khalif Raymond and Amon-Ra St. Brown. He needs to be hitting them those practice and catching 250 balls after every practice, just like Amon-Ra.
Well, that's what like Watson, right after the season, he went out and bought himself his own machine.
Absolutely.
And him and Dobbs, I guess Dobbs came over by him, and they've been working on that machine. So it's like, why don't these receivers are buying their own machines? They're only about $3,000, and for them, that's pocket change. You know what I mean?
Right there, Brent. We are live. We're as live can be. We love doing this stuff off the cuff, man. I love having real life reactions to some of this stuff. And welcome to the show, A-Dub. Are you on real time or are you?
Yeah.
All right, we got A-Dub without a delay. This is awesome. How you doing today?
Doing great for the time being, yeah.
For the time being, I do have one Packers topic right here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about Romeo Doubs jumping up and making a spectacular catch with Jair Alexander covering him. Now, the question is, does that make you feel really, really great about Doubs, or does it make you feel bad about Alexander?
For me, it's a matter of feeling good about Dobbs as far as he's just stepping his game up and he's getting the kind of competition he needs from a cornerback to better himself going forward.
All right, so let's get a Bear fan take on this before we get to Dorn. What do you think about knowing that? If it's the first time that you've heard it, what is your reaction to that?
Well, it's good for Dobbs, but that makes me worried about Jair because last season he did get burned a few times. Now it's going to be more frequently now.
Yeah, and Dobbs, how about you, Dorn? What is your first initial reaction to that? You freaking out about that at all, or?
No, I love it. I love it. Dobbs, he's my guy, man. Yeah, Dobbs, and I want to see Torrey do it now because actually I like Torrey better than Dobbs, to tell you the truth, and he doesn't get the recognition that he should.
I heard Reed was doing very well in camp too. Like
Wicks just got back from a concussion protocol thing, and his first camp yesterday, he did really good to himself. And I like that Wicks. I mean, we got a lot of young talent receivers. You just got to get out there and prove it, and get their chance out there and show what they can do.
Yeah, you guys and I admit this. Mike and I were talking about this yesterday about the Packers being $40 million behind the cap with this trade. How scary is this Packers team going into next year? If you guys do win 9-10 games this year, and then you get all that money on top of it, and let's say Jordan Love, it's like, it would be crazy to me to know that you guys wouldn't miss a beat. And if you guys have a good year this year, it's like it should be over for the rest of the division, right? If you guys don't take a step back being behind $40 million in the cap.
Yeah, we still got to play some of our players, though. We got to play Gary, Rashawn Gary. We got to play a few other guys yet. I mean, we got to figure out what we're going to do with Bakhtiari yet. If we're going to keep him, re-sign him, restructure his contract, or trade him, or do something with him.
We'll take him.
What's that?
We'll take him.
Yeah. But,
I like Bakhtiari.
yeah, when he's on the field, he's damn good. But he played 12 games, I mean, straight. So I mean, now if he can play a full year this year, it'd be great. We're paying him a lot of money.
Brent says that John is faded in and out. It's that green screen right there. That green screen some kind of makes him. He just like floats in like Homer Simpson in that with the bushes thing. Oh gosh. Hooker needs a year on the bench, says Brandon. With an injury, no reason to touch the field this year, learn the system and recover. That's the plan. In a perfect world, we believe in Goff. I don't know if the rest of the division does, but we believe in Goff. We believe that he could be the guy that could take us wherever we needed to go. And Hooker's the future.
I seen the other day he had his brace on and he was throwing and stuff, but he's a ways yet to be on the field, and especially for competition.
They're saying that they may clear him to play by week 1, but I don't believe. Well, yeah, but they cleared Jameson Williams last year too, and he was okay to go, and they decided to redshirt him in the first year too. I mean, he only had a few targets last year, and I think the same thing with Hooker. It's, I mean, you're bringing these guys in as injury dudes. You want to let them fully recover, work with our trainers, strengthen that stuff up, and he's done a good job at building that. So, but that's all I had. Like, is there anything that you guys want to talk about today?
Yeah, I got a question for John and A-Dub. What are you guys' thoughts of that? I don't remember who said it, but they're going to give Jordan Love half the season to see what he's made of.
Oh, that's that's Mark Murphy. He sometimes he needs to just shut his mouth sometimes. But but more or less, basically what he was saying is we should know what he is within half the season. We should know what Love is. Either he's going to be good or he's going to be bad. We should know. At least get some kind of sign. But I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I think our team's going to surprise a lot of people. Our defense is hungry. Our defense is playing really lights out in the camp and everything else. They know last year that every single one of them has to improve themselves. And so I think this year they're going to come out, especially week 1, man. I feel sorry for you guys.
I feel sorry for you guys. We just signed an edge rusher.
Yeah, you say an edge rusher. They can't stop the run. A.J. Dillon will feed him, and Joe will throw it.
I was going to say, if what they say is true to this guy is anything like that, they can't stop the run. For me, you just might have gotten yourselves as a Darius Smith knockoff to me.
Walmart special.
Darius Smith knockoff.
I mean, I'm saying Darius Smith had that same problem when he played for us. He can get sacks, but he couldn't. But he was a liability against the run.
Yeah, he couldn't set the edge. Couldn't do nothing.
I mean, I got his PFF stats up here. It didn't. I had no idea he was that bad at the run.
Yeah,
because when I'm looking at these things, like a 43.7 grade against the run, that's a liability. That's a guy that shouldn't be out there. And every time, if I'm a defensive coordinator and I see him out there, I don't care if it's 3rd and 10. I'm running right at Yannick because he can't tackle anybody. In 2021, his run defense was 28.2. That was last in the league against the run. In 2020, his run defense was 45.5. And that's all I need to me. That's the last 3 years. But if you go back and keep going back, 51.6, 59.9 in 2018. That was his best year. That was when he got the big money, right? And in 2017, he was really good his first year. Well, not really good, but 61.9. But his pass rushing was over 90. So he made his money from the production that he had in 2017 and has slowly declined every single year since. But he does get 10 sacks a year, though. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I don't care what his pass rushing grade is.
Yeah, I mean, you
also got to think Eberflus's defense is for the pass. He's running a 4-3 defense.
Right.
We Bears never really had that. We always had
Right.
a 3-4 defense, which we always had a strong, defensive line in the trenches.
And you got good
Oh.
linebackers, and good linebackers should
Good
help
linebackers
against
is
the
going
run.
to help stop the run.
Let's see. Okay, Eric Thomas says that we drafted our run stoppers. Okay, I mean that's fair. That's fair, but here we are in this basket of unproven stuff, right? We haven't seen what these guys can do against pro stuff. And Gerwin Dexter was a 5th round grade that you drafted in the second round. Now, you can say the same thing about Jahmyr Gibbs was a 2nd round grade. I mean, I understand how that transference of property works, but to put all of that trust into the brand new guys, that's you can if you want to do that, but we're looking at proven stuff right here.
And another thing too, I mean, it's going to take time for them to gel. You know what I mean? To see what I think with the Packers defense, they've been together for the past 3 years. And they're plugging in a couple guys here and there. But for their team, that's pretty much new everywhere.
And this comment right here, I've seen this before when it came to descriptions of Zadarius Smith.
Yeah, it is.
They said the same stuff about Zadarius when we first had him.
Mm-hmm.
What, that he couldn't stop the run?
He could. Yeah, Zadarius Smith could rush the passer, but he was mediocre against the run.
Yeah, but you also had Clay Matthews on your team too at that time. Like, I mean, come on, you guys had
actually
Preston.
Zadarius Smith came to us in 2019.
Yeah.
Was Clay Matthews before? When did Clay Matthews retire?
Right before we got rid of him. Right before when Coots came in, we got rid of some high picks or high paid players. We got rid of Martinez. We got rid of him and.
Yeah, but I remember when Zadarius came in that they did this thing where you had like 5 of these dudes that were all really, really good. They were like,
him and Preston,
one unit,
the Smith brothers came in together. Preston Smith.
And that was lethal that first year.
Zadarius Smith that first year, and even as we got them both together that same year, we drafted Rashawn Gary.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that and eventually you got to keep paying those guys and people move to the different spots right there. But I don't know. Yannick I don't think it's a good comparison between the two because like you had said, you got Smith that had a good year like that. This guy has never been good against the run ever, like not in any circumstance under any team. There's no circumstance. So I don't know if I like that comparison.
Both also left us room to sign another edge rusher.
Yeah, you guys could go sign another edge rusher.
Stop the run.
If you guys sign Justin, we actually talked about this yesterday. And Woody talked about how you guys would rather have Justin Houston, and for that reason, he's better against the run, and then he's already won a title. Like he has that pedigree, and you have these young guys that he can breathe life into. So I would take a little more pause if you guys were to sign Justin Houston right along with Yannick, and then I would be like, okay, now they're on to something for this year. But I'm not too scared of anything that's done on that yet until you guys can prove you stop the run. I mean, my offensive line, if you want to deal with Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell, and Taylor Decker, you better bring some smoke. You better bring some real dudes.
There's gonna be some smoke.
I don't believe at all that you have anybody on your team that's going to get past this offensive line that the Detroit has. Now, I don't know about the other. How do you feel about your offensive line, John Dorn, A-Dub?
The only thing
when it comes to the offensive line, the blind side of Jordan Love, the left side is going to be the strongest side of it. So, yeah, that's the one area where you're not going to be able to get much pressure against them at all.
Right, and you guys do have Gibson too. Gibson's not a slouch. I don't think he's like a high end guy, but he's definitely not a punk. He's a good player, so I like that. But I'm a Lions homer. That's all right. You guys could disagree with me on that. Rodgers
at heart.
We're all homers here. In our own minds, we all, in the back of our mind, no matter what we say about being realistic and stuff, we all think our team's going to win, and that's okay. Tell me this is a Viking fan. Oh no, it's Woody. It's Woody. That's all right though. I'm not saying Woody's a bad person to have on here, but that would have been cool to have all 4 fan bases represented on this morning show. But we have 3. What's going on, Woody?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
How's it going, man?
What's up, Woody?
I gotta
know.
get your unbiased, your Woody take on this signing.
My realistic
Your
Bear
weird-
thinking. Hey, I'm a little bit excited, a little bit. I'm not overhyped like these other Bears fans are. Now, if we sign another edge rusher that can stop the run, it's going to make this signing a lot better.
That's true.
A lot better. Now, I don't know how much Houston wants for. I don't know if anybody has the numbers on what deal he's looking for, whatever.
He's looking for about the same.
Yeah.
Now,
the same.
because at first Yannick wanted 13 million, which is no way. No, I don't. No team would have gave him 13 million. So I was surprised that he took the 10.5 million, probably because other teams didn't want him, and this is the highest paid one. So, when me and Russell were talking about this, and I disagree with it, but now it might be a little bit of a understanding. Now, do we trade for Chase Young to help stop the run, or do we go out and get these Houston? I don't want Clowney. He's over. He just. I don't like him. He's overhyped. But the trade for Chase Young might be something to think about now, since we have that draft capital to help stop the run. Now, if we do that, and he works out, and we have Yannick on the other side, that makes that Yannick signing a lot better.
Yeah, it does. Definitely.
The only thing scares me about Young is he's injury prone.
Oh, you mean Chase Young? Yeah. Well, that's what I was afraid of too, but you never know. I mean, the Yannick signing, what you got to think, the Bears fans got to think about, and that's why they're overhyped, is that he's better than anybody we got.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all.
You guys got better.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Second best is
Pretty much.
Marcus Walker.
And
That's it.
well,
But like Russell said, if it's like 3rd and 6, 3rd and 10, I'm running right towards Yannick, running right towards it, unless our linebackers will be there to help out. And we do have the linebackers to do that. But that means if we just sign a pass rusher, these linebackers are going to get overworked on the run plays. That's what I'm thinking about. So you never know. I'm nervous of Chase Young's, and Russell will tell you, I'm nervous about Chase Young's injury prone too. But it could help out now that we have Yannick. It's going to be a better signing. I might be over excited too if we do that.
It'll all come down to price.
Well, the question, I mean, is he even available? I don't think that I don't think the Commanders are that stupid to get rid of a guy that has that much talent just because he was injured. Because when I looked at his PFF stats, that was out of this world. Even though I can't read that it wasn't 12 sacks, I don't even know where I got. I might have been looking at the thing right above it or something like that. But he won.
Oh, go ahead.
He won Rookie of the Year, and as a run defender, he was above 80 every year that he's played. Like, this guy is a beast against the run. And if you had to pay a 2nd-round pick to go get Chase Young and you don't go do it, they should fire Ryan Poles, because that would be the dumbest not go get ever. And just because you're scared, well, what if he gets injured? What if he gets 17 sacks? And you re-sign him for 5 years, and you have a generational pass rusher on your team.
Now, if the Bears sign Houston or another edge rusher, I'd be talking about them having a good defense too in that division, because our defensive backfield is going to be solid.
Our secondary,
great linebackers. All we need is that defensive line, and we're looking at one of the great defenses in that division as well. Believe it or not.
Kyler Gordon got his nickname.
Yeah, but you guys got to get depth though now.
And I got to go back to this comment with Eric Thomas that says that you guys did draft run stoppers, because like you get your guys. It doesn't matter what the people from the outside think. I mean, you got those guys for a reason. And if you got
Russell, you know what I said before is that there was a comment a couple of days ago that says Roshan Johnson's a better blocker than Herbert. Well, he hasn't played a pro game yet, so we don't know. That's what I'm thinking about this comment about we drafted run stoppers. Well, you got to give them a couple years, which is going to be a 2-year process for Chicago.
Maybe.
So
what about these guys that stud out right off the bat? It's like, like they said the same thing about Jack Campbell and the Lions. Oh, he's going to have to work his way onto the team and all this stuff. But what happens when they get into training camp and they're just better than everybody? And they win that job. So
and this Mercedes Lewis pick is blowing my fucking mind right now. Confused.
Well, but he's a damn good blocker, though, man. He's solid to be on that team.
That's what I would tell you.
Does anybody know what he got paid?
Can't be much. It can't be much.
Didn't say yet.
Oh,
minimum.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and I'm like Green Bay didn't even pay Mercedes Lewis that much when he was with us.
Right, you're gonna give him a bag of chips.
Yeah, but he's a damn good blocker, though, man. You gotta give him that.
Yeah. That's all I was gonna say about Lewis.
And he's a good mentor for younger guys.
You got your sure run blocker, but he don't give you that much in terms of pass catching.
You know what's really weird to me?
Especially not at his old age either.
He's like having another fucking lineman out there, tell you the truth, you know.
What's really weird to me is like and this pertains to all of the teams in the NFC North, is like the Lions went and did some things kind of like a 5-1-5 where they're using more speed on the perimeters and they're going at the North like speed. And the other teams have went big against it. You know, signing Tanyan and Komet and Mercedes, and then Green Bay coming in and getting the 2 big tight ends. And like the other teams are going big against our smalls. I don't know what that means. Like, if what is better than the other, but I know that the other teams are counteracting what the Lions are doing by going big instead of speed.
No, Packers on the defense are going speed, getting younger and more speed on defense and on offense.
But on offense, you guys are going speed, but on defense, you guys or opposite of that. On offense, you guys are going at our 5-1-5 with our fast secondary guys rather than linebackers with 3 tight ends to go out there and combat that speed on the perimeters rather than like going speed versus speed, getting an extra, DB to try to cover that. I don't know how that's gonna work. Will you guys just be able to run us over, or is it something that's not going to work out for the other 2 teams that did it? Because really it's just 2, honestly, I guess. The Packers got the 2 tight ends going big, and now the Bears got the tight ends going. Well, no, and Hawkinson and the blocking tight ends, and everybody's going big against that, 4-2-5 or 5-1-5 or whatever the hell they're running in Detroit now. It's a hybrid kind of thing. We got a bunch of safeties and linebackers that can play like edge rusher and linebacker, and then safeties that can play linebacker or slot. So a whole bunch of interchangeable pieces like, Branch and like Jack Campbell's probably going to be the only true linebacker that's going to be out there. And he's so freaking long that it's weird. It's going to be a cool year this year. Like, this has been the first year in a long time where I really don't know, like, what to expect. Like,
I just want the NFC North to get back to the black and blue division. I've missed that being called. So I'm excited.
How many playoff teams are coming out of the North this year? Woody.
1
team. How about you, John Dorn? How many playoff teams coming out?
Well, the Packers are taking the division, and I can see the Lions getting a 7th seed.
All right. So we got 2 from John Dorn. What do you think? Bear down, Mike. 1 team. How about you, A-Dub?
Probably 1, but then but then that just depends on how everyone pans out accordingly, given the schedules being lined up accordingly. Like some teams in this division have schedules that work out in their favor to where it's a favorable matchups that they got to where they could be more than one team in this division that could make the playoffs. It's just gonna be a matter of how well you match up against certain teams.
Because the NFC East could have 3. That depends on how the Giants play.
Right, but I could see any one of the other 3 teams being as good as the Giants. Right? I think there's going to be 2, and I don't know who the other team is going to be, but the NFC's dog shit, man. Like there's not these standout teams in the NFC. I mean,
tell you the truth, I think the Eagles actually ain't going to be as good as last year. I really don't think.
Thank you, John. I do love you for a reason. Thank you for saying that.
I really do. I think they're gonna drop. I think.
Hey, really Russell, that deserves 20 likes.
Yeah,
I like that.
You like that?
Excuse my language. Fuck the Eagles.
Oh, man. We get one. We're PG-13. We get one F-bomb for every hour.
Okay, good.
Eagles are gonna lose. I'm curious to see how since they lost their offensive coordinator, how they're going to be.
Oh, gosh.
Well, here's the thing. With us, picking up Darnell Wright, and they picked Carter up in the draft, that just made the Eagles have the best defense. And I hate the Eagles more than the Packers, and people all know that. But the Eagles now will have the best defense again for at least picking up Carter in that draft.
I think it's crazy that they have the college teammates together with Carter and
Philadelphia.
They got Carter, they got Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, and Nolan Smith out of Georgia.
Yeah, and they say Nolan Smith is unblockable in training camp. I know that. I did read that. This kid with a 4.3 speed edge rusher. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Philadelphia is going to be just as good.
Yeah, and at the time they drafted him, they said he was supposed to be a clone of Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, that's a scary team. Those Philadelphia, I think they could go right back to the Super Bowl again. But it depends on Jalen Hurts, because what happens a lot of times with all that tape, you have that whole offseason, people can look at that, and they will stop Hurts this year. Just like they stopped Mahomes, just like they stopped everybody. He's going to have to adjust. He's going to have to adjust to the way that people stop him this year.
Well, I know their running game's going to go down, believe it or not. Even I know Gainwell might start or Rashad Penny, but losing Miles Sanders was big on that run game.
Yeah.
And with them losing Gardner in the defensive backfield is going to be big on their defense as well.
And who's the guy that you guys picked up? TJ
Edwards, their linebacker. Yeah.
Hassan Reddick is a big thing too.
Yep.
So, I mean, but they did draft. They've been drafting well, and it's like next man up. I mean, is Hassan Reddick good? Yeah, but they drafted Nakobe Dean. I mean, here we go in the second year. He's going to get the start. He got to sit behind that awesome defense for last year, and then he gets to step in his natural position. So plus they lost their stud backup quarterback Gardner Minshew as well.
Good luck in Indy.
And since we have them,
I'm just saying, and personally, looking at the NFC, I feel the NFC South will be the weakest division.
Oh yeah,
in the NFC at the most.
I think clearly Arizona is going to have the worst record.
Again, even with sending Kellen Moore over there to handle that offense?
No, that ain't helping nothing. Look what they did.
Purple and Gold for Days podcast says, I know I'm late. Yannick is a one-trick pony, which is a pass rusher. He does not play the run. He does not play team defense. He is there to get his and his only. Thank you for the comment. When people asked me if I thought that the Vikings should go after him, I said, heck no. Yeah, and so did a lot of the Bear fans. They didn't.
These overhyped Bear fans think Yannick's going to be like Khalil Mack. No, absolutely not. Don't get hyped.
He makes you better. I mean, that's the
Oh,
thing.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Anything.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and $10 million. You think you overpaid for an edge rusher? $10.5 million? No, you didn't. That's a
that's average. That's low average actually for a good pass rusher, though.
That's a way low average right there. Jason says Rodgers didn't do MVP things when the defense kept him in striking distance in the final finale last season. That's true.
Rodgers can pound sand. I can give two shits.
Yeah, we brought out. Okay, let's bring up yesterday's topic now that we have a couple of Packer fans on here. I want to say Jordan Love versus Aaron Rodgers, but it isn't just Jordan Love versus Aaron Rodgers. It's Jordan Love going into this year with this offense in 2023 versus not MVP Rodgers, but Rodgers of last year, 2022. Can Jordan Love be better than that version of Rodgers? Go ahead, A-Dub.
Personally, I think he could, as a means of making sure that you make the right reads, as well as consistent and growth in his game. Like I watched Jordan Love long enough to say and see that he might be more than capable enough to where he can match those kind of numbers that Rodgers put up last season. It's just going to be a matter of how well does the chemistry with his new look offense be, as far as everybody on this. The majority of this offense is going to be young and inexperienced, even with the QB position. So there's going to be a great deal of growing pains going into this season, but they do have the talent to where they can compete. So yeah, I think Love can. I think Love could match Aaron Rodgers' production at the most.
So match at the most. Let me go to Woody here. So we're going to kind of go back and forth between fan bases here. What do you think?
I said no yesterday. First year as being a real permanent starter, and plus, Aaron Rodgers. You know how he loved Alan Lazard. Christian Watson's got to stop going long only to help Jordan Love out. But like A-Dub said, there's going to be some growing pains this year. This is why I say no to this.
Okay. How about you, John Dorn?
I think you definitely can get better than what Rodgers played last year. Rodgers was 6 for 40 in deep balls, for one thing. His accuracy was off. He never threw in the middle. Where Jordan Love, he loves throwing in the middle. Watson, they've been putting him like everywhere this year. They're not just on the sides. They're putting him in the X. They're having him doing slants. They're having him doing that more than he did last year. Dobbs is showing that better. That he's doing that better with his footwork and route running. He's actually a pretty damn good route runner. So, and with A.J. Dillon and Jones and DeGora and Davis actually being pretty much veterans of the team, I don't see why we couldn't be better than fucking last year, especially in offense.
All right. John Dorn says that he can be better. How about you, bear down, Mike? And now make sure that we characterize this. And we're not saying Jordan Love is better than Aaron Rodgers. We're saying this version, the potential of this year versus what Aaron Rodgers put on the field last year.
I'm going to say no. There's just not enough on this guy to make that kind of prediction if he's going to be that good. I want to say no. It's going to be pretty much his rookie year. The only thing he has going for him is that connection with those younger receivers. That's about it.
Okay.
So I'm going to say no.
So bear down Mike says no, and I'm gonna break this tie right here, and I'm gonna say that he can be better because I did watch that game last year when we were playing the Packers in the first game, and they were on the goal line, and I watched Aaron Rodgers drop back and bounce a ball off of Bakhtiari's helmet. and then it was picked off in the end zone. And I'm thinking that doesn't happen in any of the other great Aaron Rodgers runs. So for me to say that he's going to be better than Aaron Rodgers was last year isn't that much of a compliment, but I think that he can run the offense, and what you alluded to there, Bear Down Mike, about him actually having chemistry with these younger receivers. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers was out in his darkness retreat, on his psychedelic drugs and everything. And it was Jordan Love that was working with Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. So I'm not going to sit up here and say that I'm not a little bit scared of Jordan Love. If I did that, I feel like I'm a real big homer, because that defense is still there, and they brought in Lucas Van Ness. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So I like that. What do you think in the comments, everybody? So we have all of the fan bases in the comments. What do you think of Jordan Love 2023 versus Aaron Rodgers of 2022? Put your comments in there. Yeah.
And Russell, I just wanted to say that topic that you and Main Event Mike were talking about the Kareem Hunt. I did put a comment in there that I would rather have Kareem Hunt as a starter over Zeke if Madison is injured. And if they get Kareem Hunt or Zeke, I have a feeling that they're not going to finish in the basement. I think Chicago will finish in the basement if they do get any one of those running backs. That's just my opinion on that.
Right on. Yeah.
I think it all depends on Fields. I give Fields a lot of shit. I do. But if he does turn out to, that he can actually pass the ball and actually read defenses and all that kind of crap, Bears is gonna be a pretty tough team to beat.
Well, here's a good thing I heard yesterday, that last year he wasn't able to change the plays on the go. Now he's going to be able to. Or he's going to be able to audible.
Are you talking about
Justin Fields?
Justin Fields?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing. Okay, we got Chad in here. Definitely not drinking a beer before he's coming in. How's it going, Chad?
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'll admit it. I'm scared. I'd like to cuss, but because of the kindness of the Detroit Lions, whatever that led to, then I'm not gonna cuss. But I'm still gonna say John Dorn is the biggest shit talker I've ever met. And I'm scared to death. I'm scared to death of Jordan Love, and rightfully so. I mean, you would have to be an idiot to not realize the Green Bay Packers know quarterbacks. We don't know what Jordan Love is. They do. They still have him, and then they gypped him for an extra year for next to nothing. That they're not getting rid of him. They know what they've got. He will get eventually a big contract, and I'm scared. And that defense, you got the Viking fans and all that saying this. The best defense in the NFC North is the Packers by far, and probably the Lions are probably second. And that's just my opinion. But go ahead, you guys. I want to sit here and hear what you all have to say.
So who would you be more afraid of, Justin Fields or Jordan Love this season?
That's a great question.
Well, what if Justin can throw? What if he throws 3,500 yards?
I would say that I'm more scared of Justin Fields than I am Jordan Love.
Well, just remember what Lamar Jackson did his first couple of years. He was a running quarterback. He was a running back. Just to play it simple. His next year, that's when he threw a ball like you wouldn't believe. He has an arm on him. So I have a feeling that Justin Fields, through his college and stuff, I think he has a better arm. He just got to read them defenses. And if he gets DJ Moore open, Mooney, they're saying Claypool is having the best preseason that he ever had, training camp. So if Justin Fields starts throwing long, short, over the middle, and he starts completing these passes, look out. That's what I'm excited about. See how he does.
All right. Is there anybody going to echo that? Because I understand Bear fans will believe that. I'll do my take, but are you scared of Justin Fields at all, Chad? All right.
I'll answer for him. Yes, he says. Yes.
Yeah, he says yes. So how about you, A-Dub? Are you scared of Justin Fields at all?
Personally, not. Just to be honest with you, my take on him has always been about him being subjecting himself to a lot of unnecessary hits at the start of his career when he came here. Sure, he has the problem with reading defenses, but it's just been how often has he been subjecting himself to a lot of unnecessary hits during the first 2 years that he's been here. And yeah, I do also have questions about how well can he pass and throw the football out there. They're true. But how well is those connections going to be with those receivers as opposed to last year is going to be another question mark. And I even said in the comments, the Bears still have question marks on how better will their O-line be given how many sacks they gave up last year. Even while Justin Fields can perform, there's still the question on how better will his protection be.
And when everybody makes their answer, I want to piggyback on A-Dubs. So I'll let everybody else answer.
Okay, go ahead, Bear Down Mike. Why should people be scared of Justin Fields this year?
His protection definitely got a lot better. We're hoping that Braxton Jones does work out on his blind side to protect him. Tevin Jenkins is going to get only better. And with Cody Whitehair moving from guard to center, where he was a Pro Bowler, it's going to help a lot.
Natural position.
And we also, with Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan, and now Mercedes Lewis blocking, it's going to look a lot better.
And there you go.
The protection is going to get better.
So that's why you should be scared of Justin Fields. Now, I know I saved you for the last before I throw my take on there, but what do you think, John Dorn?
No, nobody should be scared. Nobody be scared of Justin Fields. For one thing, the NFL is way too fast for him. And the turnover rate he does, I mean, it's unreal. How many fumbles and how many interceptions? It's like, come on, man. Like I said, NFL is way too fast for him. He ain't gonna change.
Do you realize
he's a bridge quarterback? He's a bridge quarterback until next year, until the good quarterbacks come out to college next year. Then they'll trade him, or they might use him for a gadget player, and that's about it. I mean, that's all he's good for is a gadget player.
I love your homer takes there, John. And he has been consistent. John has been consistent. Fields is garbage for as long. I mean, I think ever since the day that he was drafted. But I'm going to say that I'm way more scared of Justin Fields than I am of Jordan Love, because Justin Fields doesn't have to be that good of a passer in order for him to win games. I mean, he's obviously a playmaker with his feet. And if he's a below average player, then he's going to add 6 games to the total without even doing anything. He just needs to be below average. If he's an average player, then gosh, you guys could win 8, 9, 10 games. He doesn't have to be that good at throwing the football in order to be successful. So that's my take on it, but I'm going to let Woody go back because he wants to piggyback off of A-Dub.
Good, because you guys got me over here crying.
What I was talking to Russell too a couple days ago on the show is that Justin Fields was mostly sacked outside the pocket. So what he has to do is, if he has no room to run, he has to throw the ball out of bounds and not take that sack. That is key. That is key to this. He was sacked mostly outside the pocket. Now, this year is that DJ Moore likes to get open, and he can get open. If he sees Justin Fields being rushed and not having a running lane, DJ Moore is going to be open, and that's what's going to make him successful. So that's my take.
Well, you brought up two really, really good points right there.
He did.
One of them being outside of the pocket, and most of his sacks came because of poor Justin Fields decisions, not because of the poor offensive line. So if he can clean up his decision making, like I said, man, he was atrocious at throwing the ball. No one's going to deny that he was awful, historically bad at throwing the ball and turning the ball over. So
what he wanted to do, he wanted to make a home run every single throw. He wanted to throw it down the field, way down. You want to do dot bombs every fucking play. Just seems like.
Well, the thing is that it's not like Justin Fields didn't have time. The offensive line gave him 2.7 seconds. That's ninth in the best last year. So it's not like it's just the run blocking. So it's not like Justin Fields broke down because of the offensive line. It was just bad decision making. So think about that as well.
We got my buddy John Dorn out there, not let me get a take. Thanks, John.
We gave you a take. You said
I still love you, man.
Up your ass.
I still love you, John.
We moved on.
No, there is no moving on. Let's all go to reality, everybody. Okay? Let's actually go to reality. There is no question that DJ Moore is a top 20 or better receiver in this league. There is no question. Hands down. Okay? Has Fields ever had that weapon?
That's a good point.
No.
It's true.
I've got a lot more to go, please. Fields has never had that type of weapon. Okay? Now, if Fields can learn to be a game controller and learn to control time of possession and learn not to go for home runs and make first downs and not panic and take off running, which, oh my God, every time he takes off running against the Lions, I almost have a heart attack. I hate it. The best running back in the league. And then let's jump to the Packers. If Jordan Love throws for 3,500 yards,
I'm just giving him. See, I get to mute him right there because Chad likes to change my subjects on me, like right in the middle of the show. We're talking about Justin Fields right there, and we got everybody around talking about Justin Fields right there. And if we are comparing Justin Fields to Jordan Love, Justin Fields definitely has more of a more experience when it comes to NFL speeds. But I got
something to say.
Jordan Love definitely remains
top 20 receiver. PFF doesn't even have it on top 25, but they do got Watson at 24, and I don't see DJ Moore at all on fucking PFF top 25 receiver. He's not even on that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a point there. He's not on PFF's top 25. Not
Look
in the overalls.
Wait a minute. Come on, guys. Look where Amon-Ra St. Brown is rated, too. He's getting ripped. So, PFF doesn't mean anything. You got to play the game.
Look who DJ Moore's quarterbacks were. A corpse of Cam Newton, PJ Watt.
Who's throwing to him now? They're better quarterbacks than Fields is right now. Come on,
Baker Mayfield.
But I do have to correct you on the Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown is not being disrespected by PFF. Do we want to go there? Do you want to know where Amon-Ra St. Brown is ranked?
Absolutely, yeah. Let's go.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is the number one wide receiver in the NFL, as far as being right there.
Yeah.
By PFF, he is.
Yes. Yeah.
He is ahead of Justin Jefferson, 90.7, and Justin Jefferson is 90.3. And actually, let's say best in the NFC North before I get myself in trouble. I don't know if I
stand corrected.
Okay. But I'm not saying DJ Moore is not a bad receiver because he's a darn good receiver. I'm just saying.
My point to bringing that up to Chad, though, John Dorn, you're not saying that he's a bad wide receiver.
No.
I am not going to sit in here on this show and tell you that Amon-Ra St. Brown is the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Exactly.
But I'm also not going to sit up here on this show and say that DJ Moore isn't a top 20 wide receiver because he had a bad year last year. Because if you combine his whole career. He's had more than one 1,000-yard season with who throwing him? The corpse of Cam Newton, PJ Walker. Like, I mean, at least Justin Fields is, going into a third year here. We still don't know what he could really do if he could throw the ball and throw the ball and throw the ball. He made bad decisions last year, but he also had 1,000 yards rushing, which that doesn't happen either. So I am scared of Justin Fields a little bit with this. DJ Moore is a good wide receiver, at least top 25. Can we go there at least? And you look at Claypool. Claypool's definitely showing flashes. If
I like Mooney, to tell you the truth. I like Mooney. I mean, Mooney's a damn good receiver.
Mooney was slated as a number 2 or slated as a number 1 last year. That may have been a little much of a stretch, but he's a number 2 for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you can get Chase Claypool to be comfortable with getting number 3 targets, I mean, look out with Cole Kmet. You guys got playmakers, offensive line. I mean,
he would be the guy for the deep shots because he's good at the one-on-ones.
Sure. So for me to just say Jordan Love over, and I'm not even homering against these guys, but I am more scared of Fields than I am of Love.
Absolutely.
Can I ask the Packers fans something, Russell?
You may ask the Packers fans something. Thank you for asking.
If Jordan Love takes a shit this year, like a shit, do the Packers go draft one of these main quarterbacks that are coming out of the draft next year?
Well, if he does, yeah, I don't see why they won't. I mean, but I don't see it happening because if they didn't have confidence in him right now, they want to move down from Rodgers. He was underneath the contract. They know exactly who they have, and they know they have a lot of confidence in him. So, yeah, if he did, yeah, I don't see why they won't.
All right, I want to hear A-Dub on that too. That's a good question.
If Jordan Love has a bad year this year, I don't see Green Bay not taking a chance to get another QB. But from my perspective, I don't look at us just moving on from Jordan Love completely after one bad year. Like it takes more than just one season for us to see what we truly have in him. Like that part about him having half the year, half the season to show what he can do. I just thought that was a crazy take from Mark Murphy just to break someone's confidence, but I don't see Green Bay going down that road with Love.
Mark Murphy just needs to keep his mouth
shut. I was just asking because Green Bay is known for having these Hall of Fame quarterbacks like Brett Favre and soon to be Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know if they're in that mindset that they're going after their franchise quarterback, future Hall of Fame quarterback. That's why I was asking how long do they give Jordan Love if he has a bad season or a bad first 2 seasons. That's why I was asking.
Well, I know that the floor has been watching.
Let me ask you a question to go on top of that. So now that you would say, okay, you believe in Jordan Love, what would it take? How many wins would it take for you to bail on him to where, like, how bad would he have to be in order for you guys to be like, F that, let's use these first 2 first round picks. Let's move up and get our guy. What would it take?
For me, with our defense we got, if we have less than 5 wins, definitely would have to move on. I mean, there's no reason why we should have less than 5 wins.
So 5 wins for Dorn. What about you, A-Dub?
Same here. Like if we in a combination of 2 seasons, if we're not anywhere above 5 wins as a team, then certainly we have to look at a different face at QB. But I ain't just looking at wins for me to be seen if Jordan Love doesn't pan out. It's a matter of what kind of production he gives us as well.
Because you guys got him 2 years. I mean, that extension did go for this year and next year.
That's why I asked.
Right? I mean, and my thing is like, if Jordan's production is anywhere underwhelming as to what Aaron Rodgers gave us last year, if it's underwhelming to that for the first 2 years, then for certain we will move on to a different face at QB.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You pretty much have to draft a quarterback. If Jordan Love isn't good, you're going to have to. Then you coming into next season, and have a QB battle.
Right?
Yeah, it'll be a battle in the draft. It'll be a battle in the draft too. If Justin Fields has a shitty year too, Bears and Green Bay will be going after the quarterback. So
there we go.
You guys set yourself up like that. I mean, both teams both GMs needs the credit right there for that. Poles and Gutekunst deserve credit for setting themselves up red and black Vegas style right there. You guys are winning either way. If Jordan ain't good, you got 2 first-round picks. If Fields ain't good, you got 2 first-round picks. So kudos to your GMs for that.
No, we might go get Kirk Cousins maybe.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Like that.
But
Playoffs?
Playoffs?
Oh,
wow.
God. Oh my gosh. Let me get into some of these comments right here. I'm sorry. Eric Thomas says that he has a lot of late hits on him too.
Yeah, he got hit a lot late.
Well, that hasn't been a running back though.
Jason says that the thing I don't understand is the second MVP Rodgers received after letting the Niners come into Lambeau and win with the defense only giving up 6 points and still losing the game. Yeah, that's
tunnel vision fucking Rodgers for you, man.
Yeah, tunnel vision for Devontae Adams that game.
Yeah.
You lost a game with Jimmy Garoppolo throwing 6 passes. That's crazy, and that's probably is that the moment that broke you, John Dorn?
Yeah, it did.
That was it. Mm-hmm. Vikings gal says Vikings 11-6, Bears 9-8.
No way.
Lions 6-10.
Wow, she is
Packers 3-14.
Packers
That is
Must have some really good drugs in the Viking camp there.
Hey, John, is she drinking martinis too?
I think so.
Hey, this is the main event, though.
Strong for that.
The home of the bad takes, man. We appreciate everybody.
I mean, I'm a homer sometimes, but not like that.
The only thing I think she said that was smart was like you had the Vikings with less wins than they had last season. Like they lucked out in numerous games last season. Like they're going to take a step back.
Yeah, I would love you to give me the rationale behind the Lions going backwards with an easier schedule and all the improvements that we made. I don't see how that is.
And I don't see. I picked the Bears to go 7-10. I don't see the Packers only winning 3 games this year. I'm sorry.
No way.
Yeah, I
can see the Vikings that winning 3 games.
Yes, John Dorn, the best take you've ever made.
What I want to see is the Bears become at least competitive, better on the defensive end.
You know what's good?
What's the defense?
The Bears, their schedule favors them, or we'd be really in trouble.
Right.
So.
I mean, I got you guys I think you guys could win 7-8 games, and I think you should feel good about that with the progression of that. I mean, if you win 13 games, you guys should have a parade. I mean, if you guys actually pull some of the homer stuff that is out there right now, go for it. Have a party. Like, you deserve it right there. Jason says Love is ready, and they know it too. Who knows it?
No.
Who knows it? The front office don't know it.
Well, they had to know it. Otherwise, they went to one off with Rodgers.
It don't matter.
Chad wants to chime in on this guy right here.
Yeah, not get muted. Let's take reality. The Vikings shit the bed. They are in cap hell. They are in a total rebuild. I don't care what you think. Yes, they're about to spend what 12 to 15 million on Hawkinson and at least 20, 30 million a year on JJ. Yeah, they're in cap hell. And Kirk, not even Kirk, Captain Kirk, take them out of there. Okay, I have the Packers winning 10 games this year.
Playoffs.
However good Jordan Love is, you have probably the best running back tandem in the whole NFL. Okay, so and you have what should be a top 10 defense, even though it didn't perform one last year. You have a very good defense with a lot of first-round draft picks on it. And, okay, I see the Bears winning 8 games. I do. I see the Packers winning 10. I see the Lions winning 12. And I see the Vikings, well, they'll be happy if they get 4 or 5.
Wow. 4 or 5 wins for the Vikings.
Absolutely.
By Chad right there. And Jason says Love is ready and they know it. And I wanted to hit that comment. It's like your front office don't know it. They don't know it. They paid him less than what the 5th-year option would give him in the extension. That shows that your front office does not believe in you quite yet. And exactly with these comments coming in that they're giving him half the season, like they're not showing confidence in Love. Actually, they're showing traits of somebody that knows that they're going to lose some games this year, being $40 million behind the cap. And I tell you what, if the Green Bay Packers win 9-10 games, look out, rest of the NFC North. Look out, because they got $40 million to spend next year on top of you're shitting on them because you think they're going to be bad. If they're not bad, look out.
And I hate favoring the Packers because John Dorn's here.
Hey, we keep it real on here. I keep it real too. I think that the Vikings are going 0-6 in the division.
See, one thing about it, they have to get a young quarterback because they got to pay JJ, they got to pay fucking everybody else, so they got to go young quarterback.
You know what? To go off of what Chad said, I could see the Vikings actually. They're more than likely to go after another quarterback in this draft also, because considering how much they got to pay other players on offense, you more than likely Kurt's going to be the odd man out where you're going to have to get a new face to play the position next year.
That's crazy to think there could be 4 new quarterbacks in the NFC North next year.
Hey, Dub, they're going to probably have the first pick in the draft, honestly, in my opinion.
And Detroit will trade us Hooker, and we'll be good then. Thank you.
Yeah, keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. Wait till Hooker gets into this offense. You guys will be fucked.
Well, hey, like I said, I followed him at Virginia.
Paid for it.
I followed him at Virginia Tech. I like him.
I already know where Jared Goff's going. Jared Goff is going with Ben. When Ben leaves, I'm telling you, man, and I could be wrong, but my heart tells me where Ben goes, there's going to be a major trade with that team, and they're taking Jared Goff from the Lions. And I believe it'll be after this season, unless we get to the Super Bowl. Then Ben will stay. If we get to where we go to the Super Bowl, Ben will stay. If we get a home game and lose in the first round, Ben is gone and Goff is going with him. I believe that in my heart.
Can you imagine, Chad, if Brad Holmes trades Matt Stafford for 2 first-round picks and gets Jared Goff in a throw-in and coaches him up to a place where they can actually trade him and get a first-round pick out of Jared Goff to go where Ben Johnson goes? How cool would Brad Holmes be if that is actually what comes to fruition?
Brad Holmes is the god of football.
Playoffs.
And even John Dorn can't deny that.
I don't know. Ryan Poles is doing pretty damn good himself.
Of course. But he's doing good. Yeah. And the Vikings did really good with
with Holmes right now, tell you the truth, right? To me, I gotta see after the season before I rate him. I gotta see what do you guys do this year? I'm not sold on your
He's
fucking.
Unbelievable. There is nobody in the and I'll take this to the bank. There is nobody, not Ryan Poles, nobody in the NFC North, nobody in the NFL has the track record of Brad Holmes right now. Go check it. Go check. Every one of his draft picks are on the team right now, contributing.
Yeah, but he won 12 games in 2 years. No, this year you guys take a big jump.
He rebuilt a roster from the studs, ripping it apart, and made it into a Super Bowl contender in 2 years.
Yep. In 2 years, you guys won 9 games last year. You won one game over 500. One game.
We went from 3 games the
Yeah,
first
what'd
year.
you do? What'd you do,
9
John Dorn?
games.
You
Well,
were
we
you were
took-
favored to win the division.
Good came in there, took a 6-91 team one off season and made him a 13 contenders and never looked back for a while.
Okay.
That's a good thing. So don't tell me you can't fucking do it in one off season.
I know.
Not from the
And we got a
studs.
two-
Not
we got
from the
We
studs.
got rid of a lot of people, and we brought in more people.
Not
We
as many as
got rid
us.
of like 4 or 5 of our
Not
top
as many
paid
as
fucking
us.
players.
Not as many as us.
And we got a
think
toothpick
offensive
at a wide
coordinator-
receiver that Alexander lines up 10 yards off of him. When Alexander, your best corner, lined up against our toothpick, he was 10 yards off of him. Because why? Why? Oh, because our toothpick will blow his ass away if he does.
You guys can't start fucking seasons off,
Oh,
man.
Jeff Dorn.
You guys
I
can't put
love
full
you,
season together
but
so far. 2 years in a row. You guys can't put full season together.
So there was a 30-second argument of something that had nothing to do with the topic, which was Brad Holmes has brought in talent. It has nothing to do with wins and losses. It has to do with bringing guys in and managing the cap. And like Penei Sewell,
But that comes to
starter.
wins, though. Wins and losses.
I can give
Penei
home
Sewell,
credit for that.
starter. Levi Onwuzurike is going to be on this team this year. Aleem McNeil, starter. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Pro Bowl, all pro type of player right there.
Then
You
go
got
win something.
second year.
Win something, prove it. Win something.
Okay, can I say something? Can I
You
say
left
something?
something out, Russell. All these late round picks that Holmes has drafted want to be
All don't
here.
mean shit unless you win
Okay,
something.
you can't say that for Green Bay. That's for sure.
Except, even Aiden Hutchinson. Like I said, Aiden Hutchinson is going to have the most sacks this year in the NFC North. You heard it here first. I believe that.
So
Aiden,
what Russ is
Aiden
trying to say,
Hutchinson, Josh Pascal, Kirby Joseph, starter. Fourth round, James Mitchell. He's our second tight end.
All looks good on paper. All looks good on paper.
No,
You gotta put it on your field, you gotta
No,
win.
John, that's where you're wrong. It's not paper. It's guys that came into the league, were drafted, and produced. Aiden Hutchinson had 9 real sacks. They were actual sacks. He actually brought the guy to the ground in the NFL, not in Michigan, in the NFL.
And 3 interceptions.
Did you make the playoffs last year?
Did you make the playoffs last year?
That's not the question, John.
I'm
Can we
just
stay
saying.
on point?
No,
I'm
the
talking
Detroit
about-
Lions
You can
kicked
say
you out
all
of the
you
playoffs.
want.
The playoffs was for you to take, John Dorn. You and your little fairy
And here we are.
godfather quarterback couldn't do it. Couldn't beat the Lions. That's why you didn't make the playoffs last year.
You see,
Because
our down years are up here. That's the reason why you had an up year, because we had a down year. I'm just saying.
What we played
Oh, boy.
2 games against you. That your bad season had 2 games to do with us. Your bad. You have plenty of other problems for
Yeah, our
the Green
offense.
Bay
was
Packers
always
that has
fucking
nothing to
all
do
year.
with how good or bad the Detroit Lions are. Just because you haven't beaten the Lions in almost 2 years now. That is regardless. That doesn't matter.
2 years we're 3-1, right, Russell? We're
You're
3-1.
You're
We
1
all
and
know
3
that-
versus
that-
Campbell.
The year before that, we had everything wrapped up.
Oh,
Garbage
whoa,
done, and
okay.
took our starters out.
1
Okay.
win, 3 losses versus Campbell. End of discussion.
Mhm.
It's done. And I mean, at least the Bears, you guys got 2 wins. You're 2-2 against us, and we are 2-2 against the Minnesota Vikings. But we are 3-1 against the Packers, so we own the
Yeah.
Packers, right?
Yep,
No.
we
Oh
do.
boy.
And the Bears are the real
I'm not
up
going to
and
go there
comers.
yet. I'm not going to go there
The
yet.
Bears are the real up and comers. They're the team to look out for next season.
Calvin's like, you guys are who? You see, this is how we get extra people right here. We just argue with John Dorn about. But I feel you, man. The Lions do need to prove it.
You
I
gotta
do-
prove it, man.
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
believe that this year.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying you guys didn't bring in good talent. 'Cause I never said the word, but you guys didn't. I just think you guys, it's on paper, looks all good. Until you guys do something and win something, then I'm saying, okay.
All right.
Holmes did a
Well,
great
let me
job.
ask you this: how many go through? Come on, listen. I'm going to remove you, Chad, because I can't have you bitch at me every time I make a comment that you don't get to make a comment. Like, come on, guys. All right. What I want to be able to say is that the Detroit Lions, I was talking about the the Brad Holmes, how many people that he's brought in. He had 2 years worth of really good drafts. Where can you go to the rest of the NFL? Go check it out. How many guys draft where every single guy is on the team? Every single pick. You didn't miss on one. Not any of them. Where can you find that? Who does that? All right, I'm going to bring Chad back in. As long as you promise not to insult me again when I'm trying to call on you.
I promise.
Thank you, Chad. I'm doing my best to host the show and try to give everybody a chance to talk here. And Calvin says that we're a hoot. So we are. And John says that we are not a Super Bowl contender.
Not yet. No.
We're not.
It takes making
He's
the playoffs
Playoffs?
in order to pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lions fans are coming out of the woodworks. The Lions fans, for the first time in my history that I can remember, they sold out their season tickets.
Yep.
So
Today was announced. You're right.
So the homers are coming out. The bandwagon fans are jumping back on the wagon. But that just proves that a lot of the Lions fans are bandwagon fans, and they're going to jump on the bandwagon now that it's all good.
Like that, Will? With the Panther and the Lions fan?
I mean, like I said before,
Will's being turned to the blue side.
There's a grooming him to be a Lions fan.
Who does that either? Oh, Sebastian says Vikings are contenders, though.
For the basement, yeah.
not
They
this
won
year.
the division. I mean, they got. I can't. It's like, what am I supposed to say to that? You know, I don't think that they're going to be good this year. They lost too much, but they won the division. They get to beat their chest during the offseason. Detroit Fan Man says that it's easy to have all of our draft picks make the team when it's a 2-year complete rebuild. This might be Brad's best class, though. So, yeah, and I'm not even talking about this year's class. I'm just talking about the guys that made it from the previous. I mean, there's 7th-round draft picks that are on this team still in the 90-man roster. So that's hard. That's hard to get those guys, all of them, to make the team. And you guys know that, right? You know that.
We get the idea, and of course, same could be said for Green Bay. Like the draft class before this one, they're still here.
Except that damn fucking 3rd round fucking thing we got. We can never find anybody in the 3rd round, it seems like.
Well, like I said, I believe 4th to 6th rounds in each draft. That's where the talent is, between the 4th and 6th round.
Mm-hmm.
You can get that. That's where you get value.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you're getting your guys playing for you for 4 years for $150, and that's how you win championships. If you can get a bunch of guys that have 2-3 years left to get continuity that are already good on your team, and that's where the Lions get the confidence from. It's not these guys. It's not Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. It's not Cameron Sutton or just the brand new draft picks. It's guys like Aleem McNeil and Josh Paschal who are 2nd and 3rd round picks that are on the team, starting for the team, contributing to the team, playing for $1.50.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. You want A.J. Dillon on your team, because when Aaron Jones leaves next year, A.J. Dillon's going to take the rock over, right? You want to hit on these later round guys so you don't get into these Dalvin Cook $15 million contracts for overpaying for positions and stuff like that. But, man, we are getting up against them. Yeah, we do this again.
Hey, does anybody think if we waive James Houston to the practice squad, does anybody think for a minute he would last and make our practice squad? Hell no. Every team would pick up the problem. There's not a team that would not pick him up if we tried to put him on our practice squad and try to. He's not clear the waivers. No way. Does anybody believe he would?
Just say that you're all scared of the 40 mile an hour Addison lined up next to JJ.
Nope.
Oh, that's a good comment right there.
You like that?
Oh my gosh, right
I
there.
know, over his fucking Bud Light. I don't know.
And I tell you what, if Brad Holmes did the dumb, idiotic thing, like if he would ever do anything as stupid as waving James Houston right now, you could trade James Houston right now for a first-round draft pick if you wanted to.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't think anybody would have any problem bringing a pass rusher that was second in rookie production last year, being on a 4-year $1.50 deal. So
Yeah, I mean, but he did it in 7 games too. Imagine if he had a whole season.
But just so you know, Chad, they won't waive him. There's zero chance that they're going to waive James Houston.
They're not.
8 sacks. Yeah, they would. It would definitely be whoever had the first waiver priority would get him. That would be ridiculous. But it is 114. This is.
Wouldn't that be the Bears? Wouldn't that be the Bears, the first waiver priority?
Well, yeah, the Bears would love to have a younger version of Yannick. Like, that's the bad thing about James Houston is he can't play the run either. But he is a sack specialist, so I'm not going to rip on a sack specialist being on a team. But we got him in the 6th round. You paid $10 million for him. But we are up against it. I'm gonna close this thing out. I think Woody, or you have a show, right? And that's it. Anybody else have a podcast on here? Anybody? No. Going once, going twice. Woody, go ahead and tell them where they can find you before I close this out here.
Come join us at House Hall Report Wednesdays and Sundays during the season. Wednesdays is 7:30 Central Standard Time. Sunday, 12:30 Central Standard Time, right before kickoff. But for right now, we're doing Sunday mornings or afternoons, 12:30 Central Standard Time. Come join us.
So that's Bear fans right there. If you're a Packer fan, go and go follow Bill the Packer fan. That's getting your Packers news, roster moves, breaking news, stuff like that. We are part of the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. So please go give us a follow. Please like this video that you've been watching, and please follow the people for your team, whoever you are following right there. Detroit Lions News, go give them a follow. And we actually had the Purple People Eating podcast that was on yesterday that was representing the Minnesota Vikings. Hopefully we can get them here more often just for that. So my name is Russell Wayne. This is an every morning thing right here during the weekdays, 11 a.m. in the Eastern time and 10 a.m. in the Central time. And for Russell Wayne, for Woody, A-Dub, John Dorn, Chad, everybody that was part of this broadcast, God bless you guys. Thank you so much for being part of the program, and peace out.
Peace out.